Was going to the team sites and outposts different than going out on patrols?
Yeah, very much. You could call it military tourism, but it wasn't. But it could be construed that way. It was just to go out and see something outside of Malakal. I mean, within Upper Nile State, we had people in Melut, which was about an hour and a half flight north of where we were on the banks of the Nile. Then there was Renk, which is another hour or so north, very close to the Sudan border. We had some. We used to put guys out in a place called Bunj, which is sort of in the north, extreme northeast-ish of the country, near the Sudan border, but it was near Blue Nile State in Sudan. And then Nasser, which is farther south, closer to the Ethiopian side and closer to Jonglei State along the Sobat River. All this to say that the experience of going to Melut was vastly different. Civil society was starting to function there. There were IDP camps, but not. There was a protection of civilians site within the camp, but it only had about 700 people. But the IDP camps weren't UN run, so just a different vibe, more space, frankly, better accommodation. They had little gardens set up. It was like little villages. A lot of the people came from Baliet, which is south of Malakal. Going up to Renk, Renk used to be the administrative civilian home of Upper Nile State, as it was at the time. So the governor actually moved there from Malakal. Renk had a fully functioning civil society. One division of SPLA, which was general by a guy named Stephen Boy, who's actually a Nuer. He's now commanding 4 Div over in Bentu. Basically had an extraordinarily disciplined force, and he has to have had some Western training. I mean, these guys were gripped, but they weren't allowed to patrol, or they weren't allowed to go into town with weapons if they were off duty. Street after street, block after block of markets, brick buildings, lots of goods, because it's a main trade route from Sudan going south. It's like the main trade city down the highway. Asphalt, straight highway, beautiful. And both sides knew Renk was important as a trading town, so both sides never really wanted Renk destroyed, because you need Renk as a good trading town. It's essential to the economy. So going to Renk was eye-opening. It was just like being in a standard. It reminded me in many ways of being, let's say, in Bentu more than Rubicona back in '06. Looked pretty good. I bought bread. I couldn't buy bread in Malakal. I could buy it in the POC side. I refused to buy anything in there just out of principle and hygiene. But I could buy bread in Renk. That was awesome. I could buy beer in Renk. I couldn't buy beer in Malakal. I can't buy.
Stash a bunch of
no, they're little round hoops, like heavier than a pita, but really good. Like just, something's like stone ground and baked because you're spitting out bits of stone, but delicious. So I basically bought 10, scarfed down 1 because it was still warm, stuffed the rest into my backpack, and as soon as I got back to Malakal, stuffed them in my fridge. These were just day trips. We'd go out. We'd request 2 hours extended ground time for the helicopter, and in 2 hours, really quick overview from the MLO cell. Okay, here's what's happening in our area. Quick, show us what you think is important. Right. Thanks for the perspective, and off we'd go. And so I got to see Melut, got to see Renk. Had planned a trip to Bunj, never got there. Had planned a trip to Nasser, never got there, just because things came up. So I sent other people.
You loved the operations where you got to go in the helicopter.
Yeah, because roads are, look, helicopters are boring too. Flying in an Mi-8 is loud and it's annoying, and you're not in charge. You can't really look out the windows very much. Well, you can, but they're all kind of stained and grimy and whatever. All you can do is really put the earbuds in, crank some tunes, or sleep, or whatever else. Because ultimately there's a whole bunch of terrain and not a whole lot to see. And you can either spend a lot of time trying to do it, like on a road, or you can optimize your time by flying there, landing, looking around, and going, now I see what's going on, and you're home for dinner. So that's not a bad thing either.